EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for January 28th, 2020. For your Tuesday, we're expecting variable clouds across the region. I think further north, you're going to have partly to mostly cloudy skies. Further south, you're partly to mostly sunny skies, just because you still have a system off to the north here that'll be in close proximity to those northern areas. So you may get a little bit more clouds and sun at times during the day further north, but I think the further south you go, you'll have better sky condition today and temperatures that may be a degree or two cooler than what we saw here on Monday and Sunday. So let's slight step down in temperatures a little bit. And then once we get into Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and temperatures that will be in the 30s for most locations and may be getting to just above 40 here in the far southeastern locations. But a mostly sunny day expected just about everywhere across the region on Wednesday. And then partly cloudy here on Thursday. We have a system off to our south that will remain there. No chances of precipitation from that. Looks like the furthest north that gets, maybe some light precipitation across parts of Virginia and West Virginia, but that's about it. So you may get partly cloudy skies as opposed to mostly sunny here on Thursday. Still similar temperatures, though, as expected on Wednesday. Once we get to Friday, winds are going to turn to the southwest a little bit, but very light southwesterly winds. So we're going to get temperatures up a little bit to near 40, either side of 40 degrees, but still partly cloudy skies are expected here. Now we get to the weekend, and there's still a big question mark, and it's going to be a big question mark for a couple days yet until this is settled, and I'll show you why here in this video. But we basically have to rely on a northern stream component and a trough digging in, and the upper level low associated with that trough interacting with an offshore low. And when it does that and where it does that is critical to the forecast, as I explained in yesterday's video. But if you did not see that, we basically have a surface low that's moving far to the southeast here, but the northern stream, the incoming trough is too late to capture this, so the upper level low is sitting back here. The surface low is well out in front and able to escape, so this trough cannot catch up to it in time to force a phase and have this thing come up the coast. We saw that in a couple runs a couple days ago. We did not see on any of those model runs yesterday, but the models are still at a point where they're guessing on this. So the most likely solution is that it remains offshore, but there are some indications at least that at least the surface low has come further northwest. But to the untrained eye, it would look like that the GFS, Canadian, everybody's telling me, oh, well, it trended northwest. Well, the reason it's doing that is because the southern stream system itself slowed down a little bit. It wasn't so much to do with the upper air, with anything with phasing that is going to be required to get this to come up the coast and give you a snowstorm. So, as a matter of fact, the upper air analysis at 500 millibar on the northern stream actually trended worse on yesterday's run if you want a snowstorm along the East Coast. So we are favoring a miss for this weekend, and could be actually a decent weekend. But we still carried a low chance, 30% chance of snow or rain. Otherwise, we'll keep it mostly cloudy both days if this, in fact, misses. One other thing with with this system here is if it does miss, the temperatures are based on it missing. So since that's the highest probability, that's what your temperatures would be. I will tell you right now that if this does phase in here and this is coming up the coast instead, it will be a lot colder than the posted temperatures. So I've seen a lot of comments about that too. Well, it's going to be 45 degrees. It's too warm to snow. Well, that's assuming this stays offshore. Okay, if it doesn't and it's coming up the coast and there is a phase here that allows it to do that, temperatures will be a lot colder. All right, but since the highest probability is for this to stay offshore and not affect our region, we are going with the consensus, and the temperatures that are posted for that reflect that. So that's what that entails. But the reason why the models are not able to figure this out completely yet, and they keep going back and forth, and we expect them to continue to go back and forth over the next couple of days, deals with the system itself being way, way, way out in the Pacific. This is your system right here, and it's sitting out here. This is the Aleutians right here, by the way. Okay, here's the west coast of the United States. There's Washington, Oregon, and California. You can barely see it here on the satellite here. But there's our system. It's still way out in the Pacific. It is also out in a position where you don't get any observations, no land observations. When this is over land, you get airports, you have ground observations, things like that. You do get some ship observations. There are not too many ships that are out in this area, very few and far in between. You also get aircraft observations if they happen to be flying in the vicinity, but whenever there's a storm here, it's usually flying up and around it. just to try to avoid that turbulence. So you don't have very much in the way of observations here. And there's a long way to go before it hits land and observations are taken from this system. So that is ingested into the models and what it does to extrapolate downstream. And since we're missing this, and it's a very low density area for observations right now, there could be some changes that we get later in the week, and I think the models will finally latch on once we get the Wednesday, Thursday time frame, once this system comes on shore. So there still could be changes. We're not giving up on this idea here yet, certainly. There are some ensemble members that are indicating there could be something different with this in a snow event. So this is not a total loss, but it's going to depend on the speed of the northern stream. And as if I go out to a wider view here, the same system we're looking at, here's your northern stream, attempting to dive in here, but it's too late to capture this system right here. So if it's a little bit faster and this digs more, this trough digs more, it can capture this low and send it up the coast. But the problem is the ridge out here today, the models have trended away from the big ridge idea. Yesterday it had a ridge that was kind of up like this, it had a much more amplified flow, and this was able to dig down further. If it digs more further south like this, then you have an opportunity to catch this before it heads offshore. So we're not there right now. The trends today have been against that with a flatter ridge in the western United States. That's probably the key right now. But again, when we don't have observations out in the Pacific and it's in no man's land, this might be incorrect as shown. So I don't want to say this is definitely going to happen and you have a nice weekend and we're going to be dry. Most likely, but not necessarily. Okay, so we're going to continue to follow that throughout the week and continue to update as we get new information. And likely, probably not going to happen by Wednesday morning's video, but maybe Thursday morning. And it might be one of those last-minute deals where we're kind of scrambling around if there are changes, or the models could be onto the right idea right now. We'll see that later in the week. But it does look like the potential for that is going to be in the Saturday-Sunday time frame. For that to occur, and then maybe even if this doesn't hit, you still have the northern stream system to come in. You get some rain, snow showers across parts of the region, some light rain, snow showers across the region Saturday night and maybe Sunday, but then we're back to mostly sunny and milder conditions by the time we get to Monday of next week. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchich. That is your outlook for January 28th, 2020. Have a great Tuesday.